Welcome to our next book launch. Very happy to have Kim with us today, who's the author of the Data Governance Guidebook and Playbook. I love these sessions, and the reason is there's so much that goes into creating a book. When people say I wrote a book, that's only really the first part of it. After putting the words down on paper, it goes through so many different phases. I would say, and Kim could probably attest to this, that probably the writing process is a relatively small part of the entire part of creating the book, where editing cycles take a while and creating all the other things around the book takes such an amount of effort. It's just such a great thing to celebrate when it's over. And actually, it's kind of a good thing that we do this virtually, because before COVID, when a book got launched, you didn't really have that celebration, because you couldn't really, unless you were a Stephen King or a Dan Brown, you couldn't really create this session, this meeting, this celebration. And so I love having it virtually, because we really could all get together and celebrate this amazing event. I am Steve Hoberman. I am the starter and the founder of Technics Publications, and our latest project is PeppleU, where we take all of our books, and we have a very strong data focus on our books, and about 350 videos, also very strong data focus. And we put them on a platform called PeppleU, which is a subscription-based platform where you pay one price and you have access to everything, which is kind of cool. So with that, I'm very happy to welcome Kim here. If you have questions, please put them right in the chat window. And Kim says it's okay to interrupt her and I can ask the questions. Other than that, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you for everything you've done on helping me get this book out, and to everyone that took time out of their day to join me. So yeah, if you have questions, put it in the chat, but I'll go ahead and get started. My name's Kim Weinzer. I'm Director of Data at Radio Systems Corporation. I just started that job a couple months ago. What Radio Systems is you may know them better as Invisible Fence, Pet Safe, Kurgo, Sport Dog, Premier Pet. So the parent company over a lot of pet supply, pet containment, pet training type products. Prior to that, I was Chief Data Officer for the state of Tennessee. There, I modernized their data platform, worked to deploy a common data governance framework. And I think Amber is on the call. Amber was working on that with me at the state of Tennessee. And, our ideal there was to promote data sharing for analytics. Prior to that, I worked at Pekin Insurance as an assistant vice president, kind of did the same thing, modernized the data platform and their data operations, and built their first enterprise data warehouse in about 9 months. Before that, I worked for a very long time at Caterpillar, where I was my last job there was division manager over their enterprise information management department. So been doing IT for a long time. I keep gravitating back to the data side of things as a passion of mine. Webinar speaker, I actually spoke yesterday at DGIQ, might be speaking in March at Enterprise Data World, talking about data management, data governance topics. Okay, the book in 6 bullets. It's a very short read. It's a thin book, but it's really my own personal working instructions. So this book started about a little over a decade ago when I was at Caterpillar.
Very quick question.
Because we were deploying data governance globally for CAT. So it's like, let's write down an instruction book as our guidebook, and then let's create a playbook. So as we start proliferating this across global Caterpillar, we have a playbook that is a series of questions to say, if you answer these questions and you complete these tasks, then you are doing data governance. So it's by a practitioner for practitioners. I've done this as 4th company now that I've had a similar role in doing the same type of deployment.
Kim, could we ask you a quick question? Could you,
Sure.
I want to see your whole slide. If you wouldn't mind just clicking that hide button where it says sharing your screen, that would be perfect. I don't know why Zoom does that, but it shows that too. It really,
Okay.
You see the whole screen.
I-
Now. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. I was thinking you couldn't see that.
I was thinking that too.
It's different every time. This framework will give you a jump start into doing data governance. I was just sharing an example where I spent 12 weeks with people from the Netherlands, and we got their first data set under data governance in 12 weeks. So a good jump start gets you into doing it, gets that training in place so people understand why they're doing it and the benefits of it. Targeted audience for reading this book is everyone. If you produce data or you consume data, you qualify. And, you know, as we all know, that's everybody on Earth practically. So good read for everyone. And again, I'd like to take this time to thank everyone that contributed or, you know, helped me deploy this practice. It's been across 4 different companies. I've met some super talented people that have helped mold the words to this book and help validate that it actually works. Main reason I wrote it is, again, I wrote it for my own personal instruction and my own ability to be able to repeat the process over and over. But the biggest reason was since COVID started, I've had the opportunity to go to dozens of webinars that I hadn't been able to go to in the past. Amber and I actually have done probably a dozen webinars where we presented how we did this at the state of Tennessee. So those webinars would always end with somebody saying, "How can I learn more, Kim?" And I mean, you can email me, but after a while, the inbox gets full and I start losing track of things. So I thought the book, sharing the book with everyone would be a good start to get people up and running. How can it help you? The book provides an understanding of when you say you're doing data governance, like what does that mean? So it gets everybody on the same page with that. And of course, the intent of all data governance is to get you to improve your data, get you to insights faster, reduce risk for your company, build in efficiencies, all those things. So kind of high level, that's why you do data governance. This book will give you a quick jump start to understanding exactly what that entails. Like I said, it's a short read. And if you follow it, you are well on your way to having a fairly robust data governance practice. You can always add to it, subtract from it. So it's set up to, add your areas of focus, not spend so much time on those areas that aren't important to you. Yeah. So the book is really 2 books I put together, the guidebook and the playbook. The guidebook, we call it the 8 elements of data governance, which is the kind of the high level framework, the 8 things you need to do, or 8 categories of things you need to do data governance. In the book, there's a chapter for each one of these 8 elements that goes into exactly why you're doing it, what to look for, what it means to do it, who should be doing it, some indication as to inputs and outputs to that function, and some templates you could use to help you deliver on those. The playbook is at the end of each chapter and then at the end of the book also. And these are leading questions. So if you're working on element number 1, there will be a half a dozen or a dozen questions that you need to answer. And in answering those questions, you are actually delivering what you need to be doing data governance. So very high level, here are the 8 elements. It starts with organization, ends with audits. There's a bit of a, you can work these linear, a lot of these work together, but you can't do audits till the end, and you must do organization first. So if I just zip through these right quick, organization, that's where you figure out the scope of the data you're putting under the governance. Who's your sponsor? Do not start unless you have a sponsor or a data owner, some level of commitment with leadership. Otherwise, chances are you're wasting your time or you're going to have to redo it when those people are identified. Policies, procedures, standards, and definitions. Policies are the laws you're laying down around that data, or you're adopting enterprise policies such as privacy or retention or classification. Procedures are the instructions for how you carry out those policies and who does it and how often, and what do you do if something goes wrong. And then 4 is your standards and definitions. This is all around your metadata. So what's your business glossary? What's your data definitions, your data dictionary? If you have any valid values you want to identify, or naming conventions, all that goes under box 4. Box 5 is architecture, and it's the business architecture as well as the technology architecture. So looking for business flow diagrams, data flow diagrams, reference architecture drawings, anything like that. 6 is all around security. So your data administration, your data controls, your data security. 7, metrics and reporting. This is not what you do with the data you're putting under governance. This is your data quality metrics. So if you're going to spend all this time and effort putting this data under governance to keep it ready to use at all times, how are you measuring that? And then what are you going to do if it falls outside of the controlled chart you've built around it? And then 8 is something that you don't see in every data governance framework that's out there. This is the audit ability of it. So the ability to be able to, at any point in time, audit that your data is truly under governance and at a fit for use level that you've predefined. And that could be for self-auditing by the data owner. That could be for internal audits you have at your company, or even external audit or compliance type audits. So again, big thank you to Steve and Technics Publications. I never talked with or met Jamie, but in there as the editor, so thank you for that. And the cover design, when I first saw the cover design, I was like, wow, that's startling. But you know what? If you really look at it, it's all true. It all applies as tools that you may need to use at some point, theoretically, when you're doing data governance. So again, everyone that's contributed, and even those that have executed it with me over the years, I thank everyone for that.